Agent 47. Your target is in Berlin, Germany. It's an unusual target, but a very annoying one.
I'll take on any task that comes my way. The contract is always complete.
Glad to hear it. Your target is an annoying goose.
No, I'm out. Sorry, I'm retiring immediately. Bye-bye. Too dangerous.
The Gaming Lovers Podcast with Brendo and Jem.
G'day and welcome to the Gaming Lovers Podcast, episode 126. I'm Jem.
I'm Brendo. 126 episodes.
Yes.
That's a fair chunk of the gaming lovers in one's life. Brendo and Jem here again, end of January. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? It's February.
Ooh.
Just around the corner. 4 in Feb is one of our annual traditions. Has been for years. That's why it's annual, idiot.
Well, for those who may have just joined our podcast, we need to, reiterate just in case, or if you've forgotten, it's been a year, and a heck of a one at that.
Oh boy.
So, February, we usually do the 4 in Feb challenge for video games to finish within the month of February. And usually we're quite strict where we start games on our backlog that have just been sitting there, not even started. That may be loosened this year.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying we're compromising and weakening the integrity
but
of
we're
4 in
totally
Feb.
compromising and
Totally.
making it really easier for us this year. Yep.
Absolutely. We'll get to that later on and talk a little bit about the Resident Evil showcase celebrating, if you can believe it, the 25th anniversary of the franchise. Couple little nuggets I want to dig into there. But before we get there, let's talk about the past. Let's talk about our goals that we achieved in gaming, including one that I completely forgot to report on last episode. It's time for gaming goals! Just a little
bit of sizzle on the
I'm
other.
fired up. I'm ready for 4 in Feb. Watch me flex.
As in bragging?
No, just you couldn't tell that I'd flex in person.
No comment.
Poor lighting in here, that's all.
So, what have you been playing this fortnight? I keep going to say week, but it is fortnightly.
Well, let's go back before even this most recent fortnight and go to the one before it, where I should have reported in last episode that I beat quite a difficult game. It was an incredible achievement, and I completely forgot to mention it last episode. I beat Demon's Souls.
Well done.
And although I do think it is among the easiest Souls game I've played,
That's what everyone does say.
it was still challenging. There were some tough enemies, and I was having a great time. I beat that final boss, and I felt so good. Credits rolled. New Game Plus is unlocked, and I went straight into it. I thought, I'm having such a good time with this game. I'm going to go for that platinum. Needs about 2.5 playthroughs. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have a great time. And then a really weak enemy killed me because the difficulty on New Game Plus spikes dramatically. And I immediately was a coward and turned it off. But it is almost a month ago that I beat that game because it was at the start of last fortnight before the last fortnight. And that's why it slipped my mind completely. Now, I adjusted my build from the start to finish, and there's no respecking in Demon's Souls. Other Souls games I've played, if I experiment, if I botch a build, it's all right. I give a consumable item to a crazy witch or something, and I can completely reinvigorate myself and allocate stats however I want. You don't get that option in this. There's no option to just reallocate stats. So I had a point in the game where I thought, okay, now I need to know what I'm committing to. And I pivoted completely, went back to my comfort zone in these Souls games of being a super heavy hitter with a whopping big sword, which was just a giant slab of stone in this one. And marched my way through, dabbled in a little bit of magic more than I ever have in a Souls game too. And
Magic's awesome.
It's very helpful. It was very, very helpful, I must admit. Kudos to the random players across the world who did help me with about 2 to 3 bosses that I could not do solo. So thank you so much. Also thanks to the jerk who continuously killed me when I was trying to get one simple trophy, which involves me killing another player in an online duel. And it took me so darn long to get it because I kept getting paired up with this same dude who kept schooling me. So I just kept on fighting him until he was sick of me. Then I killed him eventually. It was like a 4-to-1 ratio, but I got the last laugh. So that's all that matters. So Demon's Souls, phenomenal graphics. I really enjoyed the exploration. The bosses, probably amazing visually, but they weren't as exciting.
Well, it was the original.
It was.
So
And that has to be considered. Yep. It is the prototype Souls game that everything else has built on since. And it just got a nice, shiny, ray-traced coat of paint.
Yes.
So 2 thumbs up from me for Demon's Souls. And that is... Now we're here. Now we're in the current weekend. And I beat another game.
Oh, wow.
Another chunky lad that was on my to-do list was Kazuma Kiryu's final saga, Yakuza 6.
The heartbreaking ending.
Has been completed. Tears were shed. No, they weren't. Not by me. But I didn't know what to make of that ending. It kept me guessing at times. I didn't know how it was going to go. I've stayed spoiler-free the whole time, and yeah, I enjoyed that game. And I'm looking forward to the next Yakuza game, Like a Dragon, which will be coming up at some point this year because I own it and I intend on getting through it before the year is out. Ultimately, again, I said, no, I'm focusing on the main story. I've had enough of these side quests. I'm just going to charge on through, finish this storyline, do the main missions, and I kept my word, didn't I?
No.
No, my wife caught me doing karaoke again, starting fights with New Japan Pro wrestlers again. The weird stuff that you've seen me do in a Yakuza game, and I'm like, no, but I'm chasing that Roomba for a reason, honey.
That, and I think you're just a little too obsessed with your cat cafe.
Yes, I could not befriend the poor stray cats. They were hungry in the streets.
It's the closest you're going to get to cats, though, because I'm allergic to cats, so we can't have them. So you just got to get that outlet for your love of cats somewhere.
But overall, probably one of the weaker storylines of the Yakuza series. When a series gets that deep, they usually start to either lose steam or they've got such high things in its past that it has to match up against. And in this case, the antagonists weren't as despisable as some of the previous entries. There was a lot of, and now we had politicians involved instead of just like ruthless gang leaders and stuff, so it was a little less exciting on that end when you hear people talk about financial investments as a plot device and you're like, that's not as exciting as someone losing an eye. But good time still had. Different combat engine. It felt a little clumsier in a good way because they added in ragdoll physics. So sometimes a well-placed kick just sends a dude flying into a pole. Top stuff. And I love that series. I'm so glad I took the punt and tried that many, many years ago. And I have finished an entire saga with Kazuma Kiryu at the helm.
So is Like a Dragon going to be on your foreign Feb? We'll find out.
We will. Probably not. It's like a 60-hour game. It's not feasible. What have you been playing this fortnight, my dear? Because you have been spending many an hour away from your husband this fortnight.
That sounds so sus. No. Well, we completed one of our joint goals. We said we were going to try to get more done with the Overcooked All You Can Eat. We had done Overcooked 1 and Overcooked 2, and we finished all the DLC for Overcooked 1 as well, all the festive trimmings and such. And now we're making our way through all of the Overcooked 2 DLC and enjoying that as a bit of when we've just got a short burst of gaming in us.
Night of the Hangry Horde is in progress, and you the little turncoat piece of bread, are playing as the unbread against the unbread.
Yes, I thought it would be delicious irony. Delicious. My main game that I have been focusing on for quite some time is Persona 5 Royal, and I said I think last time that I was going to try to get through the palace because I just started it, I think, last fortnight. And happy to report, flew through that palace and another palace. I've gone and completed 2 palaces in the last fortnight.
Yes, you have hit that sweet spot where when you are away from the game, you want to play the game. And when you play the game, you play the game.
Yes. So several nights in a row, just been able to keep the momentum going. Player 3 goes to sleep. Brendo goes plays Hitman or Yakuza or something, and I'm like get settled with the old, slower PlayStation 4. But I still love it. It's not been cast out yet. Yeah. I tell you what, I do notice the load times a lot more now when we jump between consoles. But, yeah, I'm loving the extra content in Royal. Absolutely loving these extra new confidence, the new characters, the extended social links for some characters, things that I'm like, oh my goodness, I know you said to me that you probably won't get around to playing it, but part of me is like, but you've got to. Oh my goodness, you've got to experience this. Oh my goodness.
Oh, do I have a 150-hour game in me these days? I don't know.
You're welcome to play it on my profile and use New Game Plus so you can blitz through some of the arduous stuff. Ooh. That way the stats are maxed out.
You just want trophies.
Well, there's that too. But in all seriousness, it's been really worthwhile, and I'm grateful that I've been playing it and hopefully can get it completed before Strikers comes out. So it's a shame, like the Strikers game is only technically a sequel to the original Persona 5, so you won't get it acknowledging the additional story content from Royal. But yeah, I'm not going to complain about more Persona.
Super good, super good. It's been nice because we have done New Game Plus on Persona 5 original many moons ago.
Yes.
And we only got about halfway.
I got stuck in space. Yep. When you get to all the airlocks, I'm like, I can't be bothered.
So, like many of these long games that you do tend to try and replay, you get to a certain point. You're more familiar with that first part of the game, much more familiar. You've passed that point. So even if it was just another run through vanilla Persona 5, you'd probably be most excited because you're like, yes, here we are, new stuff.
Yeah.
You've got that on top of actual new stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool.
There are moments you have impeccable timing, my dear, because you always seem to come in to chat to me just at the moment that brand new dialogue is happening, and I'm like, pause. What is it?
Oh, the look of annoyance on my wife's face when I pop in for a sneaky smooch. Silly.
I thought that I don't appreciate the smooch. Your timing. I don't know how you do it, but you always manage to find just when it's like totally brand new, never seen this before. And you really need to pay attention because they're laying down a lot of info and bam. Hello, wife. Have you missed me? Shh.
What a pest. What a pest. The other thing that I have played this week, and this ties into that Resident Evil showcase, the reveal of Resident Evil VIII Village release date is coming out in May, which is closer than a lot of people thought.
Yeah.
That game will be prime for Spooky Month in October later this year, so I don't know if I have to jump on that straight away.
Yeah.
But there was a free demo that was released, and it's called Maiden. It is first person. It shows off the fancy PS5 graphics. It's only a next-gen console demo. You start off in a dungeon. You go through a lovely, elaborate, fancy dining hall and things in a castle. And it's awesome. And there's no combat in this demo. They say that from the get-go. No combat.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for looks, just to get a feel of how the game plays. And when certain scripted events occur in these games, you see a stairway. And as you get close, you see a person heading up the stairway and around the corner. And you're like, if I run as quickly as I can up there, I guarantee they'll be gone by the time I get around that corner. They'll go around the corner and vanish. And my game designer loving brain is going to figure out this puzzle. In this game, I thought I was hearing voices because I was playing this with our new headphones. And I wasn't sure if the footsteps I was hearing was my character's footsteps or someone else. And then I start hearing whispers, and I think someone's watching me in this game. And I know there's no combat, so surely there's not going to be anything confrontational. So my logic side of my brain's trying to argue against the fear. And then I see this figure in the distance and I'm like, I'm going to run after you and you're going to vanish by the time I get there because that's what they do in these sort of things, just to unsettle you. And I sprint and if I had have kept sprinting, I would have caught up to that character within 1 to 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. And I thought, shoot, I don't want to get close to them in case they attack me. And I knew they weren't going to attack me, but I was too scared to go all the way up to them. So I don't know what would have happened. But that is a testament to how creepy this demo was. I was seeing things, and I'm not sure if it's just me, and I missed it the first time, but I'm sure some things in this early part of this demo were moving, and they should not have been moving. Every time I looked away, they were in a different spot, and I was just like, what? Was that me? Okay, was that like that before? And I don't want to get too specific because it's a relatively short demo. If you want to enjoy it, go out there. It is free. PS5, download Maiden, get a little creeped out. And then the end of that demo shot a lightning bolt of chills up my spine and I felt a little burst of terror from a demo.
It's like PT all over again.
It felt very much like that, first-person spookies, and it built a little bit of the lore for Resident Evil 8. I was scared enough to even go near 7 because of the demo put me on edge and scared me away from playing Resident Evil 7 for years. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that again. I was just blowing it out of proportion in my own mind. But now, I don't know if I'm just making excuses, but I'm like, I don't need to play Resident Evil 8 when it comes out. I'll play it later. I think it's done the same thing to me again. It scared me. You should play it.
No.
No.
I will play Pokemon Snap too. Thank you very much.
It's close. A couple months away.
Happy birthday to me.
2021's got some good...
No, it's not your birthday.
Yeah, it is my birthday. Happy birthday to me and you get the gift. We get the gift. We're going to play that game together. It's going to be amazing. Marathon.
Live stream it?
Got to catch them all. It's on the Switch.
Oh.
We could if we had a sufficient streaming rig, but
yeah.
I'm cheap.
So is that everything that you've played?
Yes, that's everything I've played. We'll just throw in the little tidbit from that Resident Evil showcase. There's going to be a competitive multiplayer element attached to Resident Evil 8 called Reverse.
That's right.
Which has all bunch of main characters, heroes, villains, in a third-person clunky shooter.
Because you got to have that these days.
Capcom, how can you do so well at the main games and do so badly with these multiplayer things?
They throw it out there as a because you demand multiplayer.
Nobody wants it. I don't want it. And I've been a fan since the days of yore.
Oh, let's not get into that.
Let's not. 4 in Feb's going to take a bit of discussion, so we'll be hitting on that right after this.
You're listening to the Gaming Lovers Podcast. Want to join the conversation? Visit thegaminglovers.com. Record your comment or question by clicking on the button on the right-hand side. And you could be featured in the next podcast.
Now, there are some things in life I am very, very strict with. Pineapple does not belong on my pizzas. Thank you very much. That is rule number 1. I don't have any other examples, but that's rule number 1. One of the other ones is that 4 in Feb I don't care how anyone else wants to tweak the rules to suit themselves, but I personally have always wanted to start and finish 4 separate full games in the month of February. And that is how I do 4 in Feb. Clear that backlog.
Correction, that is how you did 4 in Feb.
Okay.
And then along came Player 3.
I'm a changed man now. I'm a father. I see the world through different eyes.
Tired eyes.
Tired, fatigued eyes. And yes, I don't think I have the resources, the mental fortitude to actually start and finish 4 games on top of the stuff I'm already playing and enjoying. This is a scheduling nightmare. Whoever organised February to be the second month of the year in
And
2021 has just ruined my plans. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. And I am shocked at how well and how relaxed I am about altering the structure of 4 in Feb. This is a thing that I discovered years ago.
Amazing how relaxing the rules helps you feel a bit more relaxed.
I feel dirty and hot. It's a little bit sick. But overall, it's going to be better for my health, right?
Yes.
We discovered 4 in Feb years ago. I have been a fan. I've been on the Facebook official group that some guy just made for years. I'm a great contributor there every February. And I feel like I've taken a bit of ownership of this. And that's why I've been so strict with myself with these rules. But for this year, we're changing it to FUFIF. Which I didn't realise that was going to happen. FU 4 in Feb, which stands for finish up 4 in Feb. Okay? Gosh darn it.
You didn't run that by me at all.
No.
Oh, worth it.
Finish up 4 in Feb is my new initiative.
Sure.
Where instead of trying to complete start to finish 4 games, we are going to simply clear the deck by the end of February. We're going to finish up 4 in Feb. So by the end of the month, 4 games are off our back. FUFIF.
Oh, so many things I want to say to that, but I am not going to because that will change the rating of this podcast.
So to contrast with how things would happen, any games that are currently in progress can count for a 4 in Feb. Any games that we have decided, yes, I'm going to buy it at the end of January. It's not on the backlog, but I'm just going to purchase it and add it to 4 in Feb because I want to play it. These are the differences. And overall, I think we have a pretty good roster.
Absolutely. So the creators of the whole 4 in Feb initiative have said from the get-go anyway that it doesn't have to be starting a game and finishing a game fresh in February, that it can be just cleaning up your backlog and finishing games that you just maybe dropped for whatever reason. So it's always been something that they've promoted just to encourage you to essentially clean up that backlog, your pile of shame, whatever it is that you decide to call it. And I think we're finally going, yes, we will acknowledge those looser rules and just try to get as much as we can finished in Feb.
It is more productive to not be a stuck-up elitist. I see.
Oh, standards. We don't need those.
All right. So what are you going to allocate as your first target to finish up by the end of Feb?
All right. My first one is a big one, but I've been chipping away at it anyways. So Persona 5 Royal, I want to get her done by the end of Feb because I want it finished before Strikers comes out.
You know that if Persona 5 Strikers does come out, you're going to be straight on that.
Yes.
So clearing off something that has been a gaming goal of yours for pretty much a year, I think is a good choice for finish up 4 in Feb.
Yes.
FUFIF. Foofif. Foofif. I like it.
Oh, dear.
For me personally, we've heard enough about Persona 5 over the past 12 months. So for me personally, like I said, this game has not been sitting on the backlog for months and years like some of the others. Project 03, I'm looking at you. Hitman 3 just came out. I bought it on launch. That was my first mistake because I couldn't import my progress because the stupid website that let you do it wasn't active. And if you started some progress before you imported your save from Hitman 2, it would delete all your progress that you'd made in Hitman 3. So I bought it on launch and literally didn't want to play it for the first day. What a stupid idea. Who would have thought online connectivity required for a single-player game is a good idea? That seems so dumb. One criticism I have about Hitman 3 is that you cannot get the beautiful, fast PS5 load times because the game has to keep checking online and it keeps slowing things down. But my time with Hitman 3 so far has been very enjoyable. You will get many more updates as we roll through the second month of the year because Hitman 3, I want to enjoy it, but I also anticipate that by the end of February, I'll have done most of what I want to do in that game.
Nice.
So I've already started it. I've already done a few missions. There's not many missions left. I think I have 2 missions left, plus 2 that I missed in Hitman 2, which I have imported in. So a total of 4 levels left not touched. That's not much. That's like a weekend of Hitman. But the fun is in the replayability. So there will be lots of replayability in Hitman, but only until February 28th.
My second game for finishing up in Feb is Bugsnax. I did like the intro bit and then dropped it. And you've been so annoyed because you want to talk about the story, but you refuse to because you want me to finish it. So I will finally capitulate and actually finish Bugsnax for you.
I appreciate it. Now, what is the reason why you dropped it? Because that's frequently a interesting point of discussion of why people stop playing certain games.
I can't remember. I probably got mostly distracted by something else, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That and our child. And
that is the something else.
But I think also I was maybe in a tired headspace where I'm like, I can't be bothered doing some of these puzzles to catch the Bugsnax. So I like maybe wanted you to sit next to me and just tell me how to do stuff so I could fly through the story.
I can co-pilot, that's fine. There is a game on my roster that allows me to co-pilot with you.
Nice. What's that?
That is we're going straight back to me.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. The second game on my FUFIF roster for 2021 is something that as soon as I heard it existed, I wanted to play it. It kept appearing on Game of the Year lists from certain review sites and writers and blogs and even wrestlers that have very similar gaming loves that I do. And that game is Paradise Killer, something that almost nobody would be interested in playing based off the concept, the art, and everything else. But for me, it is a Brendo dream game. You have we'll say a small to medium open world. You have a murder that has occurred. There's mysteries involved. But the actual setting of this game is so insane that it has its own flair and personality. There's characters called Dr. Doom Jazz and Lady Love Dies and Witness to the End and all these wacky names. You've got these divine beings that have created these paradises that keep failing, and this is the penultimate one, and now someone's died before they've made the final one, and you have to find and interview everybody and ask what they were doing, what the motives are, why they might do it, do they have any clues? You're sniffing around this open world in first person looking for trick and treats. It's fantastic. It has like a 80s Japanese city pop soundtrack, so I'm all about that. It is a game that I've been enjoying. I've only recently started it, but it is scratching that Phoenix Wright, Danganronpa sort of mystery, but weird mystery. Not grounded in reality mystery where it's like, oh, the butler did it with the candlestick. I don't think that's how this murder played out in this game. So it is pseudo visual novel, not really, but the conversations are more like that. Pseudo just exploring and collecting blood crystals, which you can cash in to do fast traveling and stuff. But I have enjoyed it so far, and I can play that portably because it is on the Nintendo Switch, which means I can ride co-pilot to you when you play Bugsnax.
Nice.
So, Paradise Killer. That soundtrack you have heard me play a lot on Spotify recently. That's what that funky little saxophone is that you keep hearing. So what's up for number 3 on your Foofif 2021?
To finish up in Feb, I'm going to channel a bit of Katamari-esqueness as far as quirkiness goes with Donut County. So I basically will be playing as a hole that things fall in, and it allows you to get bigger and bigger the more you swallow stuff, similar to Katamari as you're rolling things up and getting bigger. And yeah, it's a short, delightful, quirky game, so that'll be a nice, easy one to kind of knock off the list early when I feel like I need a win.
Well, when you've put Persona 5 Royal on the roster, you need something a little small.
Yes.
And that is certainly one of them. It does look fun, it does look quirky, little light puzzling, but it's the characters and the charm, I think, that...
Just the fact of seeing things fall in a hole. You know?
Who doesn't want to play as a moving chasm? All right, next up for me, my third game on 4 in Feb. Again, breaking all of my previous rules. Last year, I greatly enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima until I stopped playing it. I never beat Ghost of Tsushima. I made it to the final act, the last part of the island. I had open world fatigue, and the enemies got harder, and they started using this poison that slowed you down. And suddenly I just went, man, I was really enjoying this game, and now I don't want to play it. So I feel reinvigorated, and with my new 4 in Feb rules, I intend on beating and finishing Ghost of Tsushima by the end of Feb.
Nice.
Clear the that's like a little dirty spot on me that I'm like, ugh, it feels gross. The fact that it's such a great game, it was voted by many people as their game of the year. I was in love with the story and the characters and the visuals and everything that this game had to offer. There was just a bit too much of it. It's like a delicious meal that you're like, this is so good. I want to eat it all, but I can't right now. I have to wait for it to digest a bit. It's exactly what I've done. I have digested the first 2/3 of Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm ready for seconds.
And what's dessert?
Oh, I don't know what dessert is. The multiplayer expansion? Maybe not. I don't think I'll be playing much of that. Yes, so with that, we're up to our 4th in Feb, and darling, what are you rounding out the team with?
I thought I'd go with something really arduous, really challenging, something that's going to eat up a lot of time. Astro's Playroom.
Ah, yes, because you've not technically beaten that, have you?
No, because I started the boss fight and promptly cracked it. Honestly, I wasn't kidding though when I said arduous and time-consuming, because if I continue to suck as badly as I did the first attempt, it will take me all of February to get that done.
Could be a 5-minute task, could be a 5-hour task. But so
500 hours.
You said the first attempt. I thought the lesson had been learnt in your time with Astro's Playroom that with platforming, it's not all about the first attempt. It's about learning and adapting and making your way through many different tasks.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'll help you out with that if you get stuck. If it comes to February 28 and you haven't finished it, we'll finish Astro's Playroom. How's that sound?
Hold you to it. What's your final game?
For me, the game that I intend on making my 4th in Feb, it's not technically out yet as of the time of this recording. Coming to Xbox Game Pass is a game that I will no doubt be on as soon as it is available. It is called The Medium, and it is going to be available the 28th. Reviews are not out until the 27th internationally, which could well be our 28th. So, I don't know if it will be worth the effort. Now, this is a horror game by Bloober Team. I have enjoyed their previous works like Layers of Fear, Walking Simulator, Jump Scare Machine, but this one's a bit more walking around a la a David Cage game, but with supernatural elements, and I want it to be good. It may not be, but I want it to be good. It's the most Silent Hill looking game I have seen since they stopped making Silent Hill games. I want it to be good. In the event it is not, and if this thing really bombs, I'm going to tag in a substitute and finally play Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is about a 6 to 8 hour game. One very good one very well received game in the gaming landscape and well reviewed, and it's something that I've never touched, and that is also on Xbox Game Pass. So either way, there will be a Game Pass game played by me, and it just depends on if the one I want to be good is good, because I don't really want to waste my time if it reviews really badly, but I'll probably still play it eventually. Spooky month. So that's it. It's a pretty diverse roster we have this year.
Yes. And I think pretty realistic compared to some years that we've had our lineups, and they've been a little ambitious at times.
Yeah, the wild card's going to be your Persona 5 Royal, because we can't tell exactly how far you are in that game, because your save file is bloated with just idle time due to baby.
But you've also got all that new content, and I don't know how long that takes to get done.
Yeah, but that's just it. We could have used howlongtobeat.com, and it says 130 hours. You're like, cool, I'm 100 hours in. I only got 30 hours left. But you're
like way over 100 hours already.
But how much of that is idle? I don't know.
Less so since the PlayStation 5 arrived and booted the PlayStation 4 to the bedroom.
Okay.
Because before, when it was in our gaming room, that's where I would have Alistair kind of crawling around and playing with his toys.
Yes.
And then if he needed me, I could just let it idle somewhere safe while I took care of him, and then come back to it when I had another few moments to play. But since it has moved out of that room, I haven't been able to touch it unless I have specific just me time. And there is not that much of that.
Oh, good. It sounds like an exciting February. Hopefully the gaming lovers tally up 8 in Feb together, combined powers. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I get excited for 4 in Feb. Look at me, I'm jittering in my seat.
Jittering?
Well, actually, there's no point. Is there even a point in doing...
It was basically a giant gaming future goals this whole episode.
Oh my gosh, what have we done? My life's a sham now. I don't know what to do.
Bayonetta.
What?
I'm going to go and dibs on gaming first.
What an abrupt finale. Well, I guess this is the end. Chowski, see you in Feb.
Thanks for listening to the Gaming Lovers Podcast. For more episodes or to watch some live stream gaming, visit thegaminglovers.com.